everybody. It is the end of the week. Ryan Stevens is here. Almost didn't make it back from Vegas.
Yeah, you know, Vegas and me.
I am Brandon Jones. I'm also joined by Mr. Kyle Bosman.
Hello.
And we like trailers. I like trailers. You like trailers, Kyle?
Definitely.
Then let's all go to the trailers. The week is over. There were a lot of cool trailers this week. Of course, we only talk about 3 specifically, and we're also going to mention some others that you should check out. We're going to score them. We're going to commiserate about trailerdom. And we're going to kick it off. Lots of monsters and big giant things fighting each other.
Really quick, since you love trailers so much, and you founded GameTrailers, why are they called trailers?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe in the comments below they can fill us in.
Sure, that's a lot to hit me with, right off the bat.
I thought, just...
So I think it was an old Hollywood thing, where the people who would make the trailers
You'd like hitch it on?
They were in a separate trailer. They were like editing only that was their job, was to edit trailers. And so it's just like, oh, we'll get it from the trailer, that kind of thing. The product of the trailers was the trailer.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if I put money on that, but it
it's
could be.
Right?
So kicking it off is a superhero trailer, Spider-Man, which we gave a massive for this week, which brought it to my attention. And I think it's fascinating that none of these characters are actually in Spider-Man 2, or The Amazing Spider-Man 2, rather. And I find that funny when video games do that for superhero movies, where they cram in a bunch of villains that actually aren't in the movie, especially because I think the first Amazing Spider-Man game had Rhino in it, which is weird because Rhino's in this movie.
It took place like 3 weeks after the first movie, but like Lizard was in it. Because Lizard was pretty much the only, was Green God, the first Amazing Spider-Man is like totally a blip of my memory.
It was only Lizard, was the only
guy?
super villain.
Okay, yeah, so he came back, but yeah, it was kind of like a... Not really an epilogue, but just, like, what happens next? Like, read the novel that happens between the movies, sort of feel.
I should say, though, Electro and Green Goblin will be in the movie and are in this trailer. So there's a little bit of overlap here.
This trailer seems really overly dramatic. We don't get any of, like, the Peter Parker charm. We get, like, Ave Maria.
Good point. Where's the Spider-Man to this?
And Beanox has been making these shitty Spider-Man games for a while, and I thought the last one was actually pretty good. Like, all things considered, I finished it. I had a good time. I didn't do a lot of the side stuff, but getting through it was actually pretty good. What I really liked is they stole the Batman thing where his cape gets all tattered and torn, but they did it to, like, the 100th degree, but not his mask, so his identity. So his mask is perfectly intact, but then he's, like, wearing, like, scraps. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I didn't really feel this trailer.
Yeah, so you said the stupid Beanox games, and this will be another one. What about this feels stupid to you specifically?
I just meant the trailer. Like I said, I think it feels way too serious. Like, Black Cat has a little bit of charm in the beginning, but then, like, the characters are talking. I'm guessing it's supposed to be Kingpin and Scaly Dude. I don't even know who that is.
That's the new Electro.
Oh, is that new Electro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spider-Man has actually done trailers with classical music before. It wasn't Friend or Foe. It was the one with the symbiote all over the place. It was the same kind of thing where it's like, I'm listening to this beautiful music, but I'm watching such terrible things happening.
Well, that's a classic, like, there's like some montage theory, right? Like, you do the weird and it's not always done poorly. Just here, overall, I wasn't really feeling it. It felt a little overly dramatic.
First, like Spider-Man, which you brought up, Kyle, that Spider-Man doesn't need to be this serious.
Yeah, that was actually Ryan's point, but I'm totally hopping onto it. Spider-Man's sarcastic. He's really fun to listen to, even.
They also don't introduce the Kingpin at all, really. He just kind of says some mean things to Spider-Man, and if I didn't know who the Kingpin was, I wouldn't know.
And the way his face is animated bothers me. He's a puppet mouth, and they never show him speaking for more than 2 seconds because all he does is open and shut his big dumb mouth.
He looks like a baked potato.
Yeah.
Is that a fat?
I mean, the Kingpin's not an attractive man, but still. So you're not a fan, Kyle. Ryan doesn't sound like you're a fan, although you did enjoy the last Spider-Man game.
Yeah, it's showing some stuff, but this seems to be really kind of story dramatic. Is that the puppet mouth right there?
Yeah, puppet mouth.
I give this a 5.8.
I think it's a really good score. I'll give it a 5.2.
5.83. I liked it a little bit more than you, marginally.
All units, 1199 Beacon Mental Hospital.
Okay, moving on to spooky stuff. Definitely a different tone. This is serious, along with Amazing Spider-Man, but I think this has more of a right to be. I was excited about this. I really, really liked Resident Evil, so I was excited about this game. This trailer got me a little more excited about the game, but I previously I spoiled it a little bit. I talked to you, Kyle, and you had problems, so I want to start with you on what you didn't like about this trailer.
Oh, no, they're only, like, dumb technical things.
What trailer is this?
Oh, sorry, this is The Evil Within. Basically, this trailer is, like, showing off texture pop-in. Like, they're on that crate just then is really gross looking. My only problems with this is how gross it makes the game look. The trailer itself is interesting. Like we're here in the sunflower field that you never expected to see in this game. Things like that. It's getting serious here. You know,
We're getting guillotined.
yeah. Just I think it's a visually unimpressive trailer, and showing off the game that it's going to be.
I would agree. It definitely has some technical woes at this point, but this is the first time I've actually gotten excited about this game since it was announced.
Sure.
Because I think everything else they've shown for it, and from what I've heard behind some of the closed-door demos, here's the 4 seconds of actual gameplay. When they released this to us, they called it the gameplay trailer, and obviously I guess it's all in-engine, but
Right.
there's not too much in the way of the gameplay. I like all the film homages, you know, there's like the Shining, there's a little of the Maya Deren, Meshes of the Afternoon, some weird like Clockwork Orange stuff. I do think, and I really like, as a trailer, I really like how they kind of introduce that drone sound, and then it becomes a bit of a musical montage mix thing, and they're not beating you over the head with it, it just happens for a little brief respite, but I really enjoyed it. I do think that who I'm guessing is the main villain looks a little silly with all the scars and stuff. It doesn't really pull off what I think they're trying to get.
Exposed brain. Too.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I love this title.
Well,
with
I
the-
wish it looked a little better at that point, but this made me go, wow, I now actually want to play this game.
Oh,
and
the
that,
spike into the eye. I see it now.
the title, it's creepy. Yeah, I just like how all over the place this trailer is. You know, you don't really get kind of sick of any environments and seeing over and over again. The sunflower is such a great visual, you know, what the hell is going on moment. And like you were saying, audibly, there's a lot of great shifts. That doesn't necessarily mean like more drums, more loud noises, but like the shifts in the audio just go up and down and up and down, and you never really know what's going to happen next. And so yeah, it definitely kept me guessing, and there's some creepy visual things, like the kid with his face missing and all the bugs are coming out of it. You know, you only see it for like half a second, but obviously Resident Evil reference here. An homage to his own game.
I can see that. Beginning of Resident Evil 1, yeah.
But it just, I definitely, it reminds me a lot more of RE4. Definitely seems like,
never a bad thing.
yeah, you're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but all these nightmare elements I really like. Especially if it's just a full-on dream sequence. Like, it's kind of fun when I was playing, I remember playing like The Suffering, and like ghost images would pop up every now and then, but like to really have no idea what you're doing, kind of like the Arkham scene where you're reliving the opening again, but like you know,
so
the
good.
roles are reversed. You know, just really weird. Eternal darkness. Like, did I break this game, or is this supposed to way? You know, is this what's supposed to be happening? Unless they have some kind of like insane mechanic, I think that would be taking it a little bit too far. But the possibility of insanity and you know, telekinesis, and this is just crazy. There's more stuff in this game than I thought there was going to be. That was going to be very straightforward. I still think the main guy is very generic, and
I'll give you that.
I'm never a huge fan of the plots where it's just like, we all showed up and crazy stuff happened. You know, I hope it's a little deeper than that, a little more interesting.
He seems a little like over costumed.
yourself knowing what I'm gonna make you do.
In the title again.
I like he's wearing a wedding ring.
Oh, nice.
Well, your dream in life is to get married, according to your 3DS.
So this guy is like who I want to be when I grow up.
So, what do you think, Kyle? I mean,
So I want to rank it really high. So I mean, like technically the game doesn't look great, but as a trailer, it's like, hey, here's our tone. Here's what's different about our game. You know, these are all the ways in which our game is unique, and it succeeds in all. 8.9.
ooh, I was gonna give it an 8.8.
Sure.
Actually, Kyle, because it's
9.1.
Ooh, yeah, I want to go into 9s, but I think there's just kind of a cheese level factor. I think the game is really exceeding at showing there's a lot of great things in it, but the game itself, to me, isn't very original. It's just kind of like RE4 and Silent Hill put together. So if they can really pull off a lot of that cool dream stuff, like we mentioned before, games like Arkham can, then I'm totally down. But, there are scores. Let's move on. And finally, I asked you, Kyle Bosman, should we talk about the Smash Brothers trailer? Because we already talked about Smash Brothers previously on the show. We talked about Little Mac and other Lil Mac, and other news that had dropped via a Nintendo Direct. But Kyle said, hell yes, we're talking about Charizard. And Grand Ninja?
Yeah,
Grand Ninja.
You got it. Yeah. You got there.
Pokemons. I can go on and on about Smash Brothers. I really love every single campaign that they do, and just revisiting this trailer, there's not many other franchises, companies, anything in the industry that puts this much work into their advertising. I mean, this entire cinema that we're looking at right now will never appear in the game. It was only made for their advertising, and that's excessive, I think, in a good way. But what specifically for you, Kyle, gets you pumped watching this?
So, what's interesting about this is it's a trailer. This is such a troll. They wanted you to think they're bringing Mewtwo back, and no, they're not. I love this. He's about to get his hand chomped. Sorry, Mario. Charizard would have gotten you there. Basically, to me, the purpose of this trailer is to show off these two Pokemon as viable Smash Brothers characters. It's basically saying, like, hey, these two belong in the game, which I think is basically what you, like, ask when you first see it. A lot of people don't know who Grey Ninja is, do you know what I mean? This is a new thing to a lot of people. And so, right after he's introduced, you see him fighting in the game, and you see his cool moves. So if you don't necessarily play Pokemon X and Y, you at least have an appreciation and want to play as this guy, I feel like.
Is he completely unmodeled, by the way? He seems way less frog-like than when Damiani was playing the game for review back in the day.
Yeah, they took a lot of liberties, actually, not just, like, in how he moves, but, like, he doesn't have awesome liquid swords in the game. They kind of played around with what the possibilities.
But his scarf is his tongue, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So, correct me if I'm wrong with my Pokemon-ness, but if Grey Ninja was to use his water abilities and put out the flame on Charizard's tail, Charizard would cease to exist.
That is anime only. That's only in the anime.
Okay.
Charizard will live if he's underwater in real life.
So, what specifically does it mean for Pokemon? Because obviously, I remember Jigglypuff and Pikachu were in previous Smash Brothers games. And Mewtwo, you said?
Yeah.
Or was it Mew or Mewtwo?
Mewtwo was
Okay.
a playable character at one point.
Any other Pokemons?
Lucario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who I did not remember at all.
Pichu was playable at one point. Pichu, the pre-evolutionary form of Pikachu. Basically, the question I have for you two is, like, what kind of impact does this trailer have on you, people who aren't Pokemaniacs?
I wouldn't say there's any one Smash Brothers trailer that pushes me over the edge, but every single one of them gets me more and more excited.
I mean, like, I would be a liar if I said this was a big deal to me, but there's a the little objective part of me is wondering, are they going a little too Pokemon heavy, I guess? Like, people wanted to see new characters, and they introduced two, and they're both Pokemon.
Right.
And I know that's kind of the common discourse right now. I don't think I personally care so much, but it is kind of interesting, especially off the heels that it's going to be coming out on 3DS before Wii U,
Right.
which is, you know, the Pokemon Station is the 3DS. Beautiful trailer, though. Really fun. I mean, Nintendo
absolutely.
does fan service right. Like, fan service is usually, you know, a derogatory term, but, you know, you can actually, hey, we have a lot of cool stuff, and we found a way to fit all the puzzle pieces together. I still want Mikey from Star Tropics, but I don't think it's ever going to happen.
And when we were talking about Little Mac before, Kyle, you criticized the animation style that they used for that. Do you think the animation's
Right.
better in this?
Do you remember I was thinking, man, they went budget on this one, and then this one they went all out on budget. They just spent more money on that trailer than they spent on any of the other trailers we watched today, which is crazy, because it's just one of many trailers for this game.
Is Grey Ninja a popular character? Damiani sure used him a lot, but that's my only state of reference, except for when I beat you when I played the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, you had Grey Ninja, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
That's actually a really interesting point a lot of people have made, is that Grey Ninja hasn't been, like, advertised heavily. Do you know, he hasn't been, like, featured, like, on the lunch boxes as much, just by himself. And so he's really an interesting pick that nobody saw coming, I think, as a character by himself.
Do you think that's part of why he was chosen? Because people would be like, what? Grey Ninja? That's crazy.
Kind of that, and also he makes a great fighting game character. And I think that's mostly why he was picked, is they looked at him as, like, had ideas. Just, oh, think of all the cool stuff we can do with this sweet ninja frog who shoots out water. I did want to say one weird thing about Pokemon and Smash Bros.
Weird trick.
Is that, like, there's only one Link and there's only one Mario, but there are several million Charizards out there. Do you know? So, like, having Charizard in this fight doesn't mean as much as having the one Olimar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So, like, it's like, why is this one Charizard in this fight as opposed to all the other Charizards?
That'd be crazy. What if you could be multiple Charizards?
What if they can be shiny?
That'd be great. If,
For
like,
online?
1 out of a million chances you pop out as a shiny Charizard.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Shiny Charizard?
That is definitely a thing.
Are there other shiny Pokemon? Or
There's
is
a
it just...
shany version of every single Pokemon.
Ah, okay.
But you have like a 1 in 400,000 chance.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, it's real bad.
Unlike Dark Souls, I actually enjoy learning things about Pokemon, Kyle.
Oh. I'm gonna make you read the next Gone Hollow.
So, excuse me for asking so many questions. But again, yeah, I just want to point out, we talked about Smash Brothers on the show before, but when I first saw this trailer, I immediately thought, of course, we would talk about that. But I was like, oh, we already, covered Smash Brothers. But the effort that goes into this, and when we talk about, the trailers that we've covered in the last 3 or 4 episodes of this show, most of them were gameplay made to look kind of cool. Maybe a little bit of VO on top of it, but like nothing outside of that. You know, maybe like a cinema we haven't showed you yet, but you know, it's going to be in the game somewhere. Where you know, even the gameplay in this seems to be custom tailored. Like, do you get a feel that this gameplay was played and then selected later, or are these?
No, they're definitely demonstrating very individual things.
Yeah, every single one of these moments.
Yeah.
And each of these moves is a seasoned Smash fan. You know, you think like, ooh, well, you know, nice little defensive move.
The possibilities. Yeah, exactly. That one, the substitute one, is so good.
If I'm gonna give the other trailer an 8.8, I gotta give this at least a 9. I gotta give it a 9.1. Cal.
See, I'm super prejudiced. That's what sucks, is like not allowing my love for this series into my score.
No, be subjective.
Yeah. So 9.4. This is as good as it gets. Just the drama of the reveals, the quality of it, and then showing gameplay, showing how you can use these characters and what they mean to the game. It's like doing everything it should be doing.
Subjectively, I'm gonna give it a 9. The Evil Within still kind of like, I was actually now seriously interested in it, and I was already kind of, my level of interest in Smash is about the same.
So those were my 3 favorite trailers of the week, or 3 trailers that I thought were most interesting to talk about. But there were lots of other stuff. The Crew, which I talked to Daniel Bloodworth at length about this week, got a new gameplay trailer, which it's got bars on the top and bottom, so I don't know if you really call it gameplay. It's edited very heavily.
Cinematic.
But I love open world games, and so I don't really care how that game controls. I'm just really attracted to like driving across this weird fake small model of the United States.
You want to go to Maine?
I want to go to Maine. Yeah, I saw they show that you can go to Maine. Ghost Recon Phantoms, which is a game I don't know anybody personally that's excited about, had a trailer that I thought was pretty cool. Especially, it's a free-to-play game, right? It's like a free-to-play.
Yeah, it's Ghost Recon Online.
It's on PC and Steam. Just a cool trailer that kind of commented about mass production of guns and who makes the guns and who sells them, and has a cool little graphic on tactics of soldiers going in, and I don't know, it kind of sounds fun and an interesting way to sell it. Instead of being like, oh my god, this game we're making is the greatest shooter ever, but like, here's an interesting way to think about guns and think about the future and the world that this game takes place in. Hotline Miami, which I don't know if I'll end up playing, got a badass trailer with really great music. Kyle, you made a point too,
yeah.
And the Crew also, the gameplay trailer had a good tune in it, but
I like the Hotline Miami 2 trailer because that one is all gameplay.
Yeah.
And that's a eagle-eye view of a game, and yet it was able to still convey so much character from just a little bit of sound design and stuff, and like the akimbo guns and stuff like that. They're like it gets your blood flowing. That game is like really 1 in a million, but I mean, it deserves all the accolades it's gotten.
It makes it look easy because he's running around killing everybody, but that is a tough game. Like, you don't really want to run into rooms all the time, guns blazing, because you can die very fast in that game. I love the saturation, the visual like TV effects that are over the whole trailer, because you don't see that often because people are like so uptight about their gameplay. They want it to look as good as it can. And I was remarking to Kyle before we started that I love the title at the end. You can barely even read the developer's name because it's this heavy like TV repetitive,
like the scan lines.
Yeah, the scan lines and stuff. And like I thought that was gonna be over the beginning of the logo, but it stays over the logo the entire time. And so it's just like that great commitment to style. I think really comes through in that trailer. Speaking of commitment to style, and also a trailer that has amazing music in it, and you can even see the name of the song at the end of it. A new gameplay trailer for Wolfenstein: New Order, which we've talked about, I think. That might have been in the first or second episode of Let's Go to the Trailers. But just love the campaign for New Order. Can't say I'm really more excited to play the game, or might even make time for it.
Can I ask really quick, what did you think of the soccer scene?
Oh, it's great.
I loved it.
It's pretty weird, right?
Well, the whole campaign, like the soldiers walking across Abbey Road and people getting crushed by mechs in Moscow. It just, there's a lot of really great visuals. Clearly green screened and black and white and super cheesy, but all of their trailers are just made with a very clear intent. You could say the same thing, kind of similar to Smash Brothers. It's like they clearly have have an idea of what they want this game to be, the vibe, down to the songs that they pick, the shots that they choose, these extra scenes like the, red card to the face, that they add in the beginning.
The made-up record label.
Yeah, there's a made-up record
yeah.
label for the German version of the song that I can't remember the title of. Nowhere to Hide? Is that? Nowhere to Hide. Yeah, that song.
More of that.
Nailed it.
Give me one more bar.
But yeah, lots of great trailers this week, and of course, there's all sorts of other stuff you can check on GameTrailers. You can see the 3 main trailers that we talked about. The links below if you're on GameTrailers on the player. If you want to check those out specifically in their entirety. And we're here every week, so come back next Sunday and check out some more trailers on Let's Go to the Trailers. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Kyle.
No problem.
So it's Smash trailer of the week.
Oh damn! I just ran right through it without even. You didn't stop me. You didn't stop me, Kyle.
It's because I want to give it to Smash. I desperately.
It sounds like you guys.
I love,
Like
yeah,
it's Smash.
I love Smash. I mean, again, you look back at Evil Within, and like, as good as that stuff is, that is an editor that made that good. It is not the person that was playing the game at the time, that picked those shots. It was an editor being like, I'm going to tell the story this way and pick these quotes. And whereas Smash, I mean, that had to be storyboarded, animated, all the sound design and yeah, the character work and stuff. So yeah, definitely Smash. Suck it, Ryan.
I'm fine with that.
See you next week, everybody.